like a battery charging my heart right now. And oh, you left all the things you had, but not just found. And I know you had to go, but left me not to know. Like a snake's tongue is stung, but I had to show.
What is? We're back.
How are we? You okay?
Good. Another episode, another week. So we're with one of our favourite guys, Matthew Stanton.
It was an interesting, great trip, great journey down, journey down to Port Talbot. First time I've been there in a long time, and having obviously known Matt a long time. To sit down with him and have a chat with him, what a guy, and how many, literally so many stories could have been there with him all night.
Yeah, well, we were actually with him about 3 hours, weren't we?
Yeah.
So yeah, as a result, Matthew Stanton's episode is 2 episodes, and knowing him as we've got to know him over the years, that's probably quite fitting, isn't it?
Yeah.
You couldn't fit it into one; it's got to be 2. So it'll be the first episode is obviously what you're listening to today, and then the second half of it is episode 2 in a couple of weeks' time. Then, but yeah, I mean, it was a great welcome. Fair play to him. He sorted out a venue. You can tell he's a bit of a local celebrity in the rugby club there that we were at. Got his own function room and everything. And yeah, I mean, blimey, we could talk about all the stories for half an hour ourselves in his intro, couldn't we?
I think the key thing we went to, and I know we joked about when we did it, was obviously the statistics on him since Comet has gone live was an eye opener, which I think he was even a surprise to Stance. But I think in terms of just his time of playing football in the Welsh League system down around that area, and the clubs he's been involved with, the amount of stories and personalities and characters that he's been involved with and still is involved with to this day is just unreal. And as we said, I think if we wouldn't have stopped him talking when we did, we'd probably still be there now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I think he was eyeing up a can of Coke, and as we find out on the episode, Matthew Stanton shouldn't drink cans of Coke,
and
especially mixed in with Tangfastic.
Definitely not Tangfastics.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what. Before we even travelled down to Port Talbot to see him, like our Twitter account was on fire with questions, and for anyone who sent questions in, I'd say we asked about 90% of the Twitter questions that were sent in, just because it had been so popular. So we didn't want to kind of let anyone down. A couple of people who sent in naughty questions to try and make him slag someone off that he shouldn't. We didn't ask those, so sorry to disappoint. But yeah, I mean, to be fair though, any question we asked him, he didn't hold back at all, did he?
No, I think, and the only one that we wouldn't divulge is obviously the inner sanctum of the goalkeepers union of the penalty shoot, the penalty method and everything else. But I think, in fairness, very open guy in terms of talking about anything we wanted to talk about. Obviously, critical of himself, but obviously lots of funny things that we went through. In fairness, to the guy.
What was your favourite story? I know what mine was because I've been thinking about it today. Just the little nuances of it. What was your sort of favourite story without divulging too much information?
Unsurprisingly to everybody who knows him, is one of his red cards. The favourite, I think for me, the favourite one is the red card where he got the second yellow for half his teammates running one way and he ran the other way, shall we say. Yeah.
Celebrating in an inappropriate way for about the 100th time in his life, yeah.
Inappropriate celebrations and obviously the knock-on effect and ramifications to all of that. I think that was a great story.
Yeah, exactly. I think that the one I've been thinking about today is just when, without giving too many details, when he finds himself storming out like a drama queen, and he's storming out, and he finds himself in the middle of Trearis with absolutely no idea how to make it home. So yeah, I won't give any more information than that. But I just thought to myself, yeah, that's pretty high level, storming out in the middle of Triaris and then thinking, not actually sure how you would get home from here. So
Yeah, and I think obviously which we'll go into now in the episode, but the whole story, the backdrop of the amount of different things involved with the playoff final as well for Baglan, and you know what happened to get there, what happened during that day, and what happened afterwards. I think is just an incredible journey.
yeah, yeah, and he had to spoil it all then, didn't he? Just before the end of the episode and bring up Chris Haynes, my favourite ref. I don't know. It was all going so well.
Let's not talk about that. As we do in the episode, just shut it down and go next. Move on.
Just chuckle at it. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, as I say, it's 2 episodes. So what you're about to listen to today is the first half of the episode, but I can promise you he hasn't let us down. And episode 1 will be every bit as good as episode 2. It was brilliant to be down there. And Stan, I'm sure you'll be listening because you're so hyperactive and you're probably listening to your own interview. But just really appreciate your time, mate. And yeah, look forward to seeing you soon. Cheers.
Indeed.
So anyway, we're gonna have to start because we're losing like material because we've been like story ever since we got here. So thanks for hosting us. We're down in Port Talbot. I'm usually scared coming here because I'm usually coming in, getting nothing, no 3 points, and driving home whenever I come into this town. What is it about Port Talbot, do you reckon? But there's so many like decent level clubs. Why is that?
You've got a lot of clubs in within a small radius.
Yeah.
You know, you've got in the Cymru South. I know Goytre have just gone, but you've got Goytre, you've got the Lido, you've got ourselves, you've got Trefelin. Ferry went out last year.
Port Talbot are coming back. Let me tell you, they're coming back this season.
Yeah. They're in just outside the Welsh League, and so it's a lot of fish in a small pond.
And it's been like that for a long time, isn't it? And you know, Afan are coming strong as well now.
They're in the same league as Port
Talbot. The mad thing is, like in certainly in Cardiff and definitely in East Cardiff, the problem is like you get 4 or 5 teams and the good players are spread amongst them, so none of them ever get anywhere. It's like here, it's crazy, and the population's smaller. And then, like up in the Cynon Valley, you know, there's Goytre, Penrith, Khyber, Aberdare, Cwmaman. There's only ever 1 or 2 of them are any good, and the other 2 are struggling. But around here, I don't get it. It's always been so strong.
In the Cymru South the last couple of years, it's been pretty decent. I know Goytre have gone now, but they've been making a thing of like Friday night games. We played Afan Lido down there last year, the last 2 years on a Friday night. And the crowds, you know, it's... The idea of the Friday nights with the lights, whatever, get the money in, and it is great. It's like, obviously, on a Saturday, you couldn't come and watch us because you're playing. Friday night, you couldn't come and watch. You charge them £5 to get in. If you can get 400 or 500 people there watching, it's great revenue for the clubs, isn't it?
We were doing it with Llanrumney. We made no secret of it, and it's the difference between having a crowd of 40 to 240.
Yeah.
Do you like it as a player, the Friday night thing?
I don't mind it now and again. And I think we were talking about it last season. I think possibly something should come in where it should be capped, like a travelling distance.
Right, yeah.
So our first year in the Cymru South, like we spoke about earlier on, we played Abergavenny away on a Friday night. So they put the game on the Friday. We didn't have a say.
Do you not have a say in that?
No.
Right, because this is where I'm a little bit out of touch. Because back in my Welsh League days, in old money, if it got moved from a Saturday, you had to agree.
No, because
But now it's just...
seemingly not, because I spoke to Carl last year and I said, well, tell him we're not going up there on a Friday. And we were a bit thing, like fixtures haven't come out yet, but about possibly going to Aberystwyth this year on Friday night. You know?
You have to leave at lunchtime.
But the game we played, Abergavenny up there, Christ, we were, you know, I finished work at 4, we were more or less on the bus at 4. There was a smash up in Hirwaun, we had to go round the Brecon. Matthew Irman had the kit in his van. He'd gone M4 way. We were there. We had no kit. Half an hour before the game, you know, we're chucking a kit on. We got out and like, what would that be? 7:30, 7 kick-off. I just about made stop tapping you at 10 to 12. You know, and if you're leaving for work in the morning at say 7, especially the boys in the steelworks working 6 to 6. you know, for
Yeah,
what?
what
We're
chance
semi-professional players. You're not earning.
No, exactly. It's not mortgage paying money, is it? Do you know what I
One's
mean?
got families, etc.
Yeah.
It's a big ask. But then again, I don't mind a Friday against, say, Afan Lido away, or Trefelin or Goytre away, where, you know, it's an 7:30 kick-off. You be there at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
All of our boys are local. We leave in the house 5:30, 5:45. It's a big difference, you know. 10 minutes in the car to hour and a half.
Yeah.
You said there about the Steelwork boys. How are Tata doing now? I haven't kept
Promoted last year.
They got promoted last year, yeah. So, so when we came away from there, obviously we went bust. We were in Welsh League Division 1 at the time, and then they went bust. Whatever, people took it over, but because the club folded, they had to start again in the Talbot League. I think they got out of there. They done very well last year in the amateur league. It's like 3 divisions now, isn't it? So it was the bottom one. So it was like 2.
Yeah, 1, 2, and then a split.
Yeah.
3rd division.
So they won.
But they've come out of that now into what they call the championship, I think, haven't they?
Yeah, so they just about lost out to Llangina last year. I think it was nip and tuck all the way. Llangina won it.
They're cracking Llangina.
Yeah. Simon Livick's the manager there. I had many battles with Simon over the years. He was playing for Goytre. When we were down, we call it the Scow. So it was obviously Steel Company Wales.
Okay.
So like obviously it's known now as Tata. When we were playing down there, it was Chorus boys before us. It was British Steel. But locally, it's known as the Scow.
Yeah, okay.
So when we were down the Scow, we had some unreal times down there, you know.
That's where we first came. That's where we first.
I was going to say, I'm just getting flashbacks. That's the first time we encountered. I think it might have been Lamwern.
Was it?
I think it might have been Lamwern. It was. I could be wrong, but yeah, I was thinking about it on the drive down here tonight, and I was just remembering that day down at your ground, and after about 10 minutes turning to Rod and going, "Who the fuck is this prick?"
So I would have had a little bit of receding ginger hair at the time then, but yeah, I signed on there. So I was with the Goytre. So I was with the Lido as a kid, from under 6s to under 16s. Fell out of love football when I got to 16. Weren't interested. Come away from the Lido.
Why was that? Was that the usual?
Nah, to be
booze,
fair,
birds, whatever.
No, I was young, so say under 16s. I was 15, but I was like, I don't know, like worded like a late developer or whatever. But I was kind of like, I don't know, it was a bit of a strange period of time, and I lost a bit of confidence, knocked it on the head. But as a kid, I followed the Goytre, because I only live at the bottom of Goytre Hill. My family are from the Goytre. Okay. So every Saturday I would go and watch the Goytre. So Craig Duggan and Andrew Radford were the managers up there, and probably the most successful period.
I was going to say, so you must have been watching the team I mentioned when we were talking to Dean Morris last week then, that I still consider to be the best team I've seen in Welsh League football. I know it's a big shout.
Possibly.
But I tell you.
You do well to beat that Goytre side, mind, and the Duggan and Raddy.
Yeah.
They were up
we
there
did mind in the cup final.
We beat them in the cup final,
They went, they was close one year. They had a lot of meetings up there about going Welsh Prem. At the time, the step was enormous, bigger than what it is now. And if you remember, what was the side that played on the Leckworth? Grange Quins. They went in and they went bust. And
that's right,
So I followed them for years. And funny enough, do you know Wisey, Paul? Yeah. So Paul refereed us last weekend, and I think he's refereeing us again. He messaged me today, and he said, don't forget, who was your boyhood hero growing up watching the Goytre? And at the time, so when I was a kid, like, I don't know, 10, 11, 12, whatever, I used to go up and I used to do the ball boy. So I used to go, whatever, the ball go in the river, and you'd have a fiver for any you'd be landed. And I said to Paul, the amount of times I fell in our river chasing you with shots. But it was a great club back. It still is a good club, I tend to go up there now on a Sunday.
I've always really liked Goytre.
It was a shame to see him go down last year.
I agree, I
think they made a couple of wrong appointments here and there throughout the season that didn't work.
It's tough though. There's no way of knowing.
No, it's not.
There's no way of knowing.
There's new people running there now, and they're good guys. Like we played them last week in a friendly down there. Some cracking signings. Yeah. I think the facilities they've got at the Goytre, the Cymru South needs that.
I've always really liked the ground there.
Yeah, it's great.
Apart from there's no phone signal.
No, it is in the middle of nowhere, but that can be a good thing on times. If you don't want to be found.
No, that's true enough, yeah. So what brought you back then? If you finished when you were 16, did you think it'd be forever, or did you just think I'll have a break?
Yes and no. Like I don't know. I just fell out of love with playing, whatever, and then halfway through So the new season then, one of the boys' fathers was the manager of the youth side. So he said, why didn't you just play? Like, you know, because Goytre didn't have a kids side when I was a kid. Afan Lido was the best side around. My kids side, we won everything year in, year out. But Goytre never had a junior side. They've got a lot of junior sides now, but never when I was a child. Martin Lewis was the manager, and he said to me, why when you just come on board? And then I did, and then I got the love back. And funny enough, we mentioned Wisey. Paul was the reserve team manager then. And then I got the bug back in. And then the following seasons, we were playing under 19s. I would have been 17. I was captain of the youth side. Martin made me captain. And then I just got the bug back. I was playing for the reserves. I was on the bench for the firsts now and again. Do you remember a guy called Robert Cook? Yeah. So Cookie was in charge, and great guy, good as gold, right?
Yeah, Cookie was manager when we played him in the cup final. But I got good friends that played for him, and they always speak so highly of him. Like,
top man. So Rob was the manager, and then I was on the bench, whatever. But you know, I look at it now, and I was speaking to a keeper in here the other day. He's playing darts. He's a youngster, and he's with a ferry. And it's hard being a keeper at that age. It's horrible because it was. So the Goytre then were equivalent to Cymru South now, Welsh League Division 1. To be a goalkeeper, first team keeper then, 17 turning 18, is unheard of. You know, when you. Like, I was quite small at the time. You need to fill out and whatever. But I was never going to get a crack with the first, if you understand what I'm saying, you know, they had
especially not that first.
So
because Curtis would have been playing in goals, wouldn't he? So
there was another guy from Virginia, I can't remember.
Because when you mentioned that though, I'm actually going to clip up from a couple of previous episodes, just some references to this from young players. What advice would you give to someone who's like 17, 18, and they're like, no, I want to be a senior footballer now? They're clearly good, and they're going to be a top, but they're 18.
So funny enough, that touched on the point. I made a note this afternoon. So I came, so the move to the Scow came in the summer of that year. I'm shit with years. So the season had finished. We'd gone to Florida on a family holiday, me, my two brothers, my mum and my dad. And I had a phone call, I had a missed call from Stephen Lewis. Do you know Chillo? Chillo was the manager down the Scow at the time. I didn't know Steve, right? So I had a phone call. Hi, Steve Lewis from Steel Company. You know, we're looking for a number one. Your name's been passed on to me. I think you'd be a great fit. Blah 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 blah. So I had a chat to my old man. My father played for the Goytre. I loved the Goytre at the time, so I just want to play for the Goytre. But I kind of knew it weren't going to happen at that age, and so did he. So the Scow were in the Amateur League. So Goytre were Welsh League Division 1, which is the Cymru South. So at Welsh League 1, 2, 3, Amateur League. So my father said to me, listen, he said, if they're offering you the number one spot, he said, you will be the number one goalkeeper for that club. There's no better feeling than that. He said, the Amateur League is a great league. It's a tough league. I think it was a lot tougher then than it is now. Because the old saying back then was, if you win the Amateur League, you go straight through Division 3. Because the Amateur League was stronger than Division 3. I know they restructured it.
There's a lot of evidence for that.
And it did, and it happened. And I didn't know what to do. And I went down. We played a friendly against Seven Sisters. I remember it well on my 18th birthday. I didn't tell anybody I was 18 that day because I just drink. So, and then I come home and I just thought, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to do it. I signed down there. They were in the Amateur League. Steve was the manager. We had an up and down start, whatever. It's a good learning curve, the Amateur League. And going back to the point you said about what advice would you give, like I was speaking to a chap the other day in there, as I said, and you know, he's on the bench now for academies and go and play football. Go and play first football. These academies, right? Yeah, it's great, right? It's tiki-taka football. Isn't it? As a goalkeeper, you learn nothing more and going to play. I did, away up in Goytre, right? You come for a cross, smash, straight. That's how you learn. That's how you, 100%. You know. And so I signed on there. We had a bit of a up and down, sorry. And then Chillo appointed Paul Evans. You know, Paul Evans, he's just taken over Tree Thomas now. So Paul... Chillo went to him the Christmas time, and it's funny because we played Baglan as it happens. I'm sure it was like the 20th of December on Evans Bevans, playing for the Scow, and we lost 1-0, and I got lobbed. I don't know what I was doing. I come out of my box,
It's not like you to come out of your box, is it?
No. So I've lost the ball. It's ended up, I don't know, in the middle, not near the halfway line, but in between the D and, say, the centre circle. This boy just pinged it over my head, gone 1-0, we've lost. It was our team night out, so we went to Swansea. So having a swig, whatever, and if you can remember, I'm sure it was the automatic sung the song, What's That Coming Over the Hill, Is It a Monster? And all night everyone was singing, What's That Coming Over My Head? And I was thinking, fucking hell. And that was probably one of my first biggest mistakes in football. And I'll touch upon it later, like, if you don't make a mistake, we're all human, we all make mistakes. And the good thing for me was I made mistakes when I was young, which made me realise that that is going to happen.
Yeah. Do you think your way of goalkeeping is it's prone to the odd mistake because you're so front foot?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
We had debates about you over the years playing against you about whether you were just the right side of the line of. I never wanted a goalkeeper on my team that wanted to be the centre of attention because
I don't want to be centre of attention.
No, that's what I mean. I found you were just the right side of the line of it, but we had one at Llanwern especially who was like, you know, he'd get bored and now he'd try and inject himself into the game.
So that was probably something me down to T.
And the sad thing is, fantastic goalkeeper if he just could have not got bored. But I found you. Well, against us anyway, you used to just be the right side of not necessarily coming for stupid things because you've got bored for 10 minutes.
Really coming for stupid things.
But you are front foot, aren't you?
100%.
So you are going to make the odd error outside the box, whereas other keepers would be stood on the penalty spot screaming away, wouldn't they?
I've always lived on the edge, like, you know, like I've always suffered like from ADHD, and that's fucking hell. You don't need to be a scientist or whatever you want to call it, a doctor to work that out. I always have, and I've always been hyperactive, and especially if you're playing in a good side where 90% of the game it don't touch you. You know, I'm getting involved in things in the stand, and there's a guy in 30 rows up in seat Z, and I'm just thinking, fuck you looking at? And the game's going on. And when I was a kid, as junior football, my father would be on the sideline, and he's like, concentrate, and he was just, it's always been one of them things.
How would you cope with that then? Because the goalkeeper, when you're you're not drinking on the pitch, you.
That's in the water bottle.
Tell you why I asked. I was listening to a podcast from a pro keeper that had been through similar things, and he said, look, when he did his best goalkeeping was when he realised you actually cannot concentrate for 90 minutes, full stop. So he just he developed a system of the ball's up the other end. I don't really need to switch off for 10 seconds.
The last couple of years, and the boys have played across the back four with me will tell you, I've kind of channeled that in terms of, I just ask the boys constantly, are you all right? Guy, you all right? You all right? Rod, you all right? You all right? And then it's just to keep my mind going, because there's times where I'll be just like losing the plot. And what you say about the way we play, so last Saturday we played Haverfordwest away, and all right, you know, it's funny now and it's a pre-season, but we lost 1-0 and it was my fault. Right, Haverfordwest, great side, in Europe in 2 weeks' time, whatever, and they're a very good side, but the ball came back to me. I know I'm pretty good to my feet. I don't believe in goalkeepers playing out from the back. I'm not interested. I'm not a footballer. I'm a goalkeeper. Right?
And you know I am as well.
But to be fair, Carl says, like, we had a couple of chats over the summer, and he said, I want to use you a bit more in terms of, if we've got the ball in the middle, I want the boys to come back to you. I don't want to be playing out from the back. I'm going to take a goal kick here, two strikers on the box, and just going, fuck this, we're going to play out. This is the way we play. So the ball's come back. It's the first pre-season friendly, right? I'm not making excuses, right? The pitch was dry, it was a boiling hot day. But the ball's come back to me, and I've just had a touch, and I've had another touch, and my feet just stopped working. And the big fella up front for them, he's just kept coming and coming. I could have just shanked that anywhere.
The Ben Armand,
yeah. So Parsons, my right back, is there, and then the angle is just coming and coming and coming. And then he's just taken the ball off me and tapped it in empty net. We've lost 1-0. And I thought, fuck.
Took it off you with that big toe of his, didn't he?
Yeah, we just clashed.
We had him for a season at Porth, and he's got the biggest toe in Welsh football. He just nicks the ball away from people.
He was good, to be fair to him. And then as he's gone round me, I thought, fuck, shall I bring him down?
Yeah.
And then I thought, look, that's going to end up going through, red card, missed the start of the season. This happened before. And I just thought, but...
That's with age, because 5 years ago you would have swiped him.
100%.
Well, I'll just do it.
100%. There's a
feeling. How long were you at Steel? I can't gauge it.
I was there I signed on my 18th birthday. I would have been there till I was early 20s, 7 years maybe.
Yeah.
So we had 3 promotions in 4 seasons. And going back to the advice that my father said, and I'll never forget, he said about going, being a first team goalkeeper, etc. So that year, when Evo came on board in the January, we had 18 league games left of the season. We won all 18. Now, to win 18 games on the trot in any standard of football is great.
At that level, it's incredible.
And I'll touch upon it a bit later when we talk about Baglan, but we done a similar kind of thing in the Ardal League when we got to the playoff. We had 18 games left and we won 16 and we drew 2. And I've been on 2 runs like that, and I find myself very, very lucky. I played in 2 amazing sides. But you know that run that we went on, Paul had brought in a couple of players, ex-Welsh Prem players, such he brought in Dean Johnson, who used to play for Talbot Town, brought in Andy Pearson and Stephen Parry, seasoned pros, you know. And we were going to games, and I knew before we'd even met on a bus, we'd win today. I don't care who they were. I don't care who's playing for them. We'd win. And you know when you get that ball rolling and you get the bus going.
You could tell you were like it actually when in the Alliance Premier with Baglan, because we had 2 games that year. We'd just come up with Llanrumney for the first time. Llanrumney'd been at that level for God knows how long, and I think we finished 6th in the league. But we picked up some points against big sides, and we drew against you at home. When you dragged the ball out of the side netting, put it on the line, and the referee said it wasn't over the line.
Oh, it was never over the line.
That's not what you said before I turned the camera on.
No. But anyway, I went to a Catholic school and I'd never tell lies. So.
But you guys scored a top free kick then. You drew 2-2. But when we came down to you, we had a bit of a battering in the first half off you, 1-0 down. We came back with 1-1, and we're thinking we're going to get a result. Yeah. You go 2-1 up. We score in the 90th minute, and you still beat us. You know, 94th minute. You just even when we equalised at 90 minutes, as mad as it sounds, it was Flavio Pinto scored. We just brought him on as sub, and I wasn't standing there thinking, "Oh, what a great substitution," because I just had this feeling
you were going to go again.
It's still not enough, like.
And that's kind of like, you know, when you're on a run, you know these things. It's kind of like a flip thing, you know, when you're on a bad run and you can't grasp things. You can't win anything, and then but when you're on our run, you know, like it's happened to us a few times. Once you get going, right, they've scored, so we'll score again. And you just don't stop believing, kind of thing. And a lot of it is down to the management. Like Steve, and when Paul came on board for them 18 games, Paul was brilliant. He'd been with the Lido. He was a great coach, you know. And then you kind of just believe in yourself. And it's probably the best times, the 2 best periods I've ever had as a footballer over my career was with the Scout and then with Baglan. Do you know when you're playing with players that you trust, your mate, it brings the best out in you. I've played in teams for certain clubs, 2 different clubs possibly, where you're playing with like a centre half and you don't know him. Like, you know, Saturday now, right? I know for sure if I wanted to, I could come for a cross and I could try and catch it with one hand if I want, because I know if I drop a Lewis Holmes, Kieran Parsons, they'd be there for me, and it kind of brings out the best in you. And then, like I said, that year with the Scout, we were going up I remember we went to Rivalries, you know, it wasn't the best of places. Battered them. The rivalries we had with Goytre over the years. Did you ever play up the riverboat?
Yeah.
What a place, you know. And we would go up there, they'd come down with us, and they'd bring a busload down, and then, you know, on the sidelines and even the team, they were horrible, and they were proper rivalries, you know. You'd smash each other, and you'd get up and you'd smash him, you know, and it was just a ding-dong battle. But then after the game, it's probably the best welcomes I've ever had, the years we played Goytre up there.
It's funny you say that.
As soon as the game finishes, done.
Nigel Bircham telling us STM Sports went up there and played a game, and again they had a ding dong, and after they had such an amazing time in that clubhouse, and Goytre invited them back for their presentation 2 weeks later. He didn't go, obviously, but it's like,
and that was the type of people they were. There was an old fella. I used to do, you know, the Rutter card and the raffle. I'm sure his name Billy Radmud. Billy was his name anyway. What a legend of a guy, you know. We'd come in and he called you rotten on the sidelines. You come in, what a welcome, you know. They couldn't do enough for you, couldn't give you enough food, and it was great. And then, right, we see you down our place, and then they'd all come down and you'd have a ding-dong, and that's what the amateur league was like back in the day.
Yes.
It's the old style, though, isn't it? You're right. I remember playing down there and getting absolutely pelted with abuse. After the game, same thing. When the club, the guy who'd absolutely battered me from literally inside the fire escape went, "Pint."
Right, I'll tell you a story now about the pint there. You said about Porth, right? I played up there with Tata.
Yeah.
So, obviously, fuck me, the goal mouth would be like Aberafan Beach, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
shit,
we know.
right? So, you know, if you're looking at...
right down the centre of the
It was
pitch.
dreadful, right?
To be honest, yeah.
So I was defending the far end. So we were attacking the clubhouse, right?
Yeah.
So I defend the second half, whatever it was. So Remy Whitlock's my left back. He's in charge of Afan now. So he's gone down. He's brought the boy. There's a penalty. So I've always been one of these. Maybe we'll talk about it later. When some referee gives a penalty, he ain't overturning that. No, right? So the first thing I do, he blows the whistle penalty, get the ball. I'm in charge now. You've got to come and get that ball from me, right? If you turn around, stick it in the top corner, run past me celebrating, then that's my problem. I've asked for that, but I've always tried to get in someone's head where, give me the ball, you've got to come and get it from me.
Yeah.
So then I'll walk to the goal line and stand there, whatever, and then the referee will say, ball.
Yeah.
I just drop it. He said, give him the ball. I don't have to give him the ball, I'll leave it there.
No, there's no rule saying
Right?
that, is
So you
there?
just
No.
leave the ball. So the referee then will say, you know, give him the ball. So when I have my water bottle, he'll come to me, and then you just try and get in his head, right? So there's a bloke behind the goal. You may know him. I don't know his name. Big fella. You know, he's having a couple of pints. He's giving it the big one. So he turns around and he says, keep my. He said, I'll buy you a pint if you say this. I said, hey, mate, I can guarantee you I'll say this. I said, I'm the best goalkeeper around. Just giving it the big one, right?
Yeah.
I've gone the wrong way. I've gone to my left, full stretch. He's hit my big toe and gone wide the other way. I've saved the pen. Hell of a pen, right? Great. Wins the game, whatever. So he goes, they were going back to Porth Harlequins rugby club at the time.
Yeah.
So he goes back in. So obviously I wear contact lenses to play. So comes out of the shower, whatever, gets in there. So my glasses, but man, takes my contacts out, throws them next to me. Someone taps me on the shoulder. He says, you the keeper? I said, shit, mate. Yeah, it's me, right? Yeah, everything right? And he was like, what are you drinking, boy? What a penalty save ours. And he buys me a pint of Guinness, shakes your hand, and then that's what it's all about.
And I think on that, one of the things we have, we'll touch on it later, but I know some of the questions we've had coming in.
Yeah.
One of the questions we've had coming in, obviously was talking about how your routine and things are. And I said, we could probably, I know I spoke to you about this yesterday, we could probably speak on behalf of the whole goalkeepers union, whereby you'll never disclose your methods, which we've spoken about, are very different to mine in terms of how I do with my keepers. You've got your own thoughts. I think it's fair to say you're not going to share those until you're retired and no longer playing.
You know, because our first game of the season, if I can tell you, like, I know why the striker's going to go left or right. First game of the season in the Cymru South, boy picks up a penalty. He was like, I know he's going to go there, so I'm going to go there.
Exactly.
Shoot me in the foot. But I will say, going back to that, when I saved that pen, Porth Harlequins, it's all about getting in a striker's head in the right way. So last season, we drew the Swans Academy or whatever it was, home in the Cup. On the Bevs in July, boiling on, you know, whatever. But I wasn't supposed to play because my shoulder was knackered, whatever. So Carl really wanted me to play, and I said, look, my shoulder's knackered. I'm not going into a game like this, carrying an injury, blah, blah, blah. We had words on the pitch. Carl's one of my best mates. He told me, in other words, you know, grow up, this and that, you're this, blah, blah, blah. Get in and get changed, and don't look at me. So I went in, so I ended up playing, right? It's just packed all the way around on the Bevs. It was a great day for the club, right? Nobody gives a chance. You know, got Dragon bet and he's betting sites. You couldn't bet on the Swans to win. You could only bet on a -3, -4, whatever, right? There's going to be a thumping, but what we've got at Baglan is we all stick together and we make ourselves hard to beat. It was into the game 0-0. So Mark Pike had come on board in the summer, and Mark's got a bit of a motto where he says, she puts the tactics, right, gents, this is how we're going to win the game. So I'm looking in for the game, thinking, this is how we're going to win the game. Win the fucking game, you know. I want to keep the score down here now. So the game goes on, it gets to half time, it's 0-0. I'm thinking, fucking hell, you know, we're in this. We'd had a chance, they'd had a chance. It was 1-1 at half time. So second half, the game going on, and I thinking, fucking hell, as time went on, I thought, you know, we'd have a chance here. So there's a free kick, edge of the box, up the top end. I think it might have been Lewis. Lewis goes down injured, whatever, stay down. So physio comes on, bottle of water, and they had a striker up front for them, sharp boy. I think he might have scored the goal. Lightning quick. So I turns to the referee and I says, is it straight to pens? And he said, yeah, straight to pens, yeah. So the boy standing next to me, striker, already scored. So I said, if it goes to pen, would you take one? And he went, yeah, absolutely. I said, would you? What, against me? And he said, yeah, well, why wouldn't I? I said, well, honestly, do you fancy your chances? And I can't remember the referee was. That was Jordan Harmon, I think. And Jordan says, oh, just leave it now. Just leave it. I said, well, I'm just asking him if he fancies his chances. So he gets to full time, draws the game, penalty shootout. So I've always had a bit of a thing with my boys, and they probably won't like me for saying it. I never watch our boys take pens. I don't trust them.
Do you know what? I never watched a
I don't like
penalty
it.
across a Ceiliog in 3 seasons.
Right.
As time got on, I got a little bit more relaxed about it, but I couldn't do it.
I look at them and I pick goals and I think, oh, fuck, right, whatever. So we I can't remember, we either win or lose the toss. This boy is coming forward now for the first pen.
He's first up.
Towards me.
Yeah.
So I'm standing there now and thinking, fair play, true to your word.
Yeah.
So I went to go and shake his hand just to say, you know, I'm Matthew and blah, 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 and just get in his head. So he steps, just back on your line, back in the line, I said, water bottles, and he stands there. And the way that I judge where he would go, I've gone the right way. I've saved the pen. There's a great photo. I get up, I just look like something out of Shrek. I look like a fucking ogre getting up off the floor. So I've saved the pen. The crowd's erupted, and all of a sudden, fuck, we 1-0 up. Fair play to the boys. The rest of them have scored, and we won the penalty shootout 5-4. And that's just through getting in a striker's head. Now
That's a shootout, so that's a little bit different. But like, I think the mistake strikers.
have you ever seen a goalkeeper nearly get 2 yellow cards in a shootout?
Yes. Only on YouTube.
no,
I've
I
never
can't
seen
say
it.
Obviously, I'd be your man there. So the year we won the Welsh League Cup with Llanelli, we played Pontypridd in the semi-final up in it was up in Aberdare.
Yeah.
And fucking hell, the pitch was horrendous. You know, it was a misty night, pissing down swamp, whatever. It was a ding-dong game. It was either 2-2 or 3-3. Went to extra time. Could have been 3-3. Went to extra time. Dave scored. I thought it was all over. Kerry Williams, our captain, scored. It's gone to pens. And again, I've tried to get in a striker's head. And if you remember, one end in Aberdare, up on the thing, there's like a yard, like possibly caravans kept in it. Yeah. So boys come forward, and I've gone, right, mate, fucking hell, son. I'd watch a window on our caravan up there, just giving it the big one. So referees want me to get back my goals. He's giving me a yellow card, right, in the shootout. But I've tried it again, haven't I? So, my mate Richard Ryan then is running down the sideline, screaming, shut the fuck up, because you're going to have 2 yellows by you and it's going to go.
He's right, mind.
He wasn't right often, give him that. But yeah, he was like
He's
that.
right, mind.
But yeah, so we won the shootout and we played Llanelli in the final, and the rest is history. Yeah. You just got to play the game, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly. So just trying to gauge your journey. So was it Tata to put Talbot then? The other short spell to put Talbot?
So we folded with Tata. So basically it was a lot of politics behind us folding. So Chillo was the manager. Chillo was the manager, the chairman. He was doing everything at the end. Cut a long story short. Gerald Johnson was our chairman. He was working in the steelworks. A lot of things happened. He no longer worked in the steelworks, so we used to get like the minibus from in there. We used to get a bit of sponsorship. So all of that ended. In the end, Chillo was running the club on his own. Phil Waters was there till the end, and we folded. And it was sad because we'd gone from amateur league to Welsh League Division 1. I got newspaper cuttings in the house from the Evening Post, and people might think, oh, you're sad, you're a big head. But it was memories. We played, you remember when Barrytown got relegated all the way down?
Sadly so,
right?
Yeah. They ended up in our league.
They were in our league.
Yeah. You can remember that. You know, I remember we played at home down a Scow, and some fucking guy turns up in a small little Blingo van with this coat hanger thing with all these fucking kits. Yeah. And I'm thinking, fuck, we didn't change those bare, picking out the clean one. You know, and it was them, Llanelli, I think Haverfordwest possibly came down. That year was
Barrytown and Llanelli came down. But that was a tough old year, because the 3 that went up was Barrytown, Llanwern, ourselves, and Risca. But Llanelli were there, Roos were in it.
I remember we had great battles with Roos. It was a great trip.
When you think Division 3 wasn't known as being very strong, that year
it was. Yeah, definitely.
It was incredibly strong.
We played, basically we played Cymru Celtic back to back. So we were playing a midweek home. I got a picture on my phone, and we turns up and the gate has been padlocked. We couldn't get in there. So you think about, I remember having murder's shock with somebody up in Trefelin. We played up in midweek, and I made a comment about something. It was on their old ground.
Listen,
Shit.
it's not hard to have murder up on that old
Someone's
ground.
front room is these days.
I've said something, and the bloke turns
It's
round.
not hard, mate.
And at the time, when we were playing that season down the Scout, we were paying subs, and we weren't getting paid. The most we ever got paid on it was £15 a win. And this guy said, you lot, he said, you're fucking loaded, this and that. And I bit his head off, and someone pulled us away and whatever. And when you think about it, right, we were playing football for Chorus Steel, which is one of the biggest companies in the world. So you can see why people thought, you know, they are minted, but we weren't. And it was a sad decline. And in the end, Chilo pulled us out. And our last ever game in Welsh League Division 1 was Cymru Celtic away, not too sure of the game, the goals. We had a full bus, and it was an emotional day, and we folded, and that was it. And then I went to Talbot for a bit. That ended. It was great. That was because Evo was the manager there, Paul, with Phil Holmes. Together as a two, they were very, very good. Phil is probably one of the best coaches I've ever played with, because Phil's very old school. Says it as it is. So you go in the change rooms, and like in this day and age now, it's all about fucking boots, social media, cut socks, all this nonsense. Like, if Phil was in our changing rooms now, fucking hell, I don't know, there wouldn't be anybody left, right? But so they were the two coaches.
Just talk to me about those socks a minute.
I don't understand.
Right, so we're in episode 3. I'm surprised I've lasted this long. What the fuck is this thing with cutting socks?
I don't understand. So
I do fully appreciate I currently sound like my granddad.
No,
right?
but also...
But what the fuck is it about?
But it's not only is it, you know, the standards you guys are at. My under-14s had a brand new kit given to them March, and the first question was, can I cut the socks? My boy does the same thing, he cut the socks.
Clem's son comes with us every game. He plays under 10s. And he's cut socks, and he cut them himself. I just
if you think about it, right,
it's a different era.
Between the three of us, though, right, there's probably, in terms of playing, coaching, managing, whatever, there's probably about 1,500 games between the three of us. I can't remember ever being in a game where people come in and going, do you know what, though, I'm just slipping round in these socks.
No, I'd never used it myself. You know, I think.
Where does it come from?
From the pro game.
I don't
or whatever,
get it.
But
I don't get it. Do you know the thing that surprised me? I brought this up in what I thought was a safe environment, and our mate, obviously Dom Dwyer, is 37 now. Dom, I thought Dom would be of an era where he's like, oh yeah, I know it's bollocks, and he went, no, the grippy socks are good. I was just looking at it and thinking like, wow, they've got to you.
I see your grip socks now, right? And I'll raise you. What the fuck are them holes on the back of the calves all about then? But Jude Bellingham does that. What the fuck? What's that going to make you run faster? I don't understand.
Yeah, mate, it's one of them. I have done it with my boy a few times and gone, what's that? You're right.
I don't understand.
You're right. But how many kids now do that as well?
Do it all. Our chairman goes mental, and they brought a thing in now. If you're going to cut socks, you've got to buy them your own. And we make a laugh and a joke in the changing rooms. I done it last season to one of the youth boys, and he was cutting his socks. And I said, hang on 2 seconds, just so he'll hold the sock, and then I'll stretch it, and he's got the scissors, and I go, when the boy's already on the camera, like, you know. And I just don't understand. For me, you know, I've always wore black boots, white gloves.
Yeah,
I'm old school.
Well, you're old school.
There are some things that have come in. I get it. I get why people have done it, and it's an advancement. I understand it, but I don't get the cutting of socks, and I don't get turning up away from home at Blind Rhondda on a bog of a pitch and looking at 9 of your players go, I've only got moulds. Like, what is that? I haven't got. I don't own a pair of studs.
So I've always been the same.
Like, what is that?
You've got coppers and World Cups, same as me.
Coppers and World Cups. Always. I've always been the same. Coppers and World Cups. World Cups in the winter, coppers, whatever. I don't understand why anybody would wear anything different.
When I was managing Cymru and Celtic, right, we went away to Taftswell, and we had about 8 players missing, and this was the Lee Bridgman, Darren Buttle team, that a couple of runners up, they won the cup 3 times, I think it was, hell of a side, and they were just on the rise at that point, so it was a tough place to go. And do you remember Kesh Patel played for Cymru and Celtic for years?
Yeah, exactly for years. He left.
Brilliant player, brilliant lad as well, brilliant player.
I could tell you a story about him when I got sent off.
Before the fucking game, Della Chidi and me went, Kesh, where's your studs? He went, no, I don't own studs. 10 minutes into the game, he falls flat on his face. Tyrone Topper runs through 1-0.
You know, it might be old
I
school.
would not have wanted to be cash half time
Tell
with
me now,
Dell.
right? We all know, like, it's one of them. Tell me now, it's not one of them great sounds you hear. You know when you're in the tunnel and you're walking out and studs,
the clicky.
on the concrete studs.
Yeah, I've got a lot of time to it.
You can't wear studs all year round. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
This time of year, fucking hell, you know. But you've got to have a pair of studs. You've got to have a pair of molds.
I do it now. I go in the sports shop with my boy. Say he's 14 this week, and every time we go in, it's always like £260.
It's crazy.
Look at him, and I go, they're decent boots, but you're playing on a park. You're under 14s.
Yeah.
You're not wearing luminous green, and I always go, Coppers, World Cup off the shelf, and he looks at me, he says, Dad, this isn't 1966. But then it's like, but they're the old school
Coppers now
boots.
and World Cups, you're talking 150 quid.
Yeah.
I remember, fuck, I'm 35, I remember when I was growing up, they were 60 quid. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's huge money.
So we went to back to the Talbot story.
How long were you there?
Oh,
I remembered you
season.
going there because I was thinking, oh, all right, okay, because obviously Tata going, you're wondering where you're all going to end up. So Port Talbot, how long? One season.
Yeah, if that. It was a good club. So obviously that club's been a fucking mess for years.
Yeah.
Certain people have tried to make a fist of it, and to be fair, Evo and Phil really did. They were.
I think they're on the way back now, I must say.
Yeah.
Came up again. I mean, don't get me wrong, we beat them and drew with them last year, but I thought the way they set up, the way they play, that kind of thing, it just felt like a team that was just gelling, and of course
possibly,
they won 2 cups, and I saw them a couple of times towards the end of the season. I think it'll take some stopping this year.
Possibly, but that amateur league's not to be underestimated either, and so they should mind.
No,
if they are on
of course.
the squad that they've got there,
absolutely. But the thing is, I mean, you just alluded to it. There've been several people that have gone in there,
tried and failed
with money, and
absolutely
not only failed miserably. Do you know what I mean? It does feel to me like that whole thing is starting to grow again.
You think about it, right? Structurally in this town, what they've got down there, like a Baglan, we're trying to build whatever. We'll touch upon that later, but. They've got 2 big massive stands. They've got a car park, pitch,
amazing ground,
function room, changing
amazing
rooms.
ground.
They've got everything there. It is already there, and I enjoyed my time there. There were some good people involved, and I think it all ended one mental week. I'm not too sure. I think it was November time. I got sent off on 2 Saturdays on a trot. The first Saturday. And then I got sent off at 2 yellows up in Goytre, and then we had a game midweek. I missed that. And we had Tom Penter home on the Saturday, and what a bit of a wild week. We played.
Anything for a controversial reason, like or
controversial?
No, but when you say 2 yellows, that could be time wasting and handling it outside the box. Or was it daft things? Stupid things that a manager would fucking blow up about.
So one of the boys commented on good mate of mine commented on the Twitter page last night saying, asking about what happens when he takes Haribo Tangtastics for a game.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you brought that up because I was worried about, is this going to be controversial? But as you've brought it up.
Yeah, so obviously I got ADHD, so I know. Basically, I can have a can of Coke, and I'll have a same head on as a boy who'll pay 40 quid for a bag of Coke. You know what I mean? And I just paid £1. You paid 40 quid. Yeah. So when I used to work in Fords, I used to work shifts, mornings, afternoons and nights. Yeah. And anybody that's worked shifts, to play a game after a night shift, it's horrendous.
It's hard work,
we'd finish at 6, I'd get into bed 20 to 7 in the morning, your head's already on the game. Broad daylight by the time you get home. You've got to get up 10:30 then, pack your bag, try and fucking eat something when you don't feel like it. You're on a bus, you're like a stunned ram, right? It's a horrible feeling, and I wouldn't wish on anybody. And then to go and play at a tidy level. Yeah. And so we played Goytre away, and I fucking Phil and Paul were the managers. We had a good side. Luke Bowen was playing for us, Johnny Hood was playing for us. So we had a cracking side. So he goes up there, and I just thrown a Lucasade down me, pack of Haribos, I'm fucking flying, right, before the game.
A pack of Haribos?
Oh yeah, done, gone.
With the sugar on top?
Yeah, the lot, right?
Yeah, you've gone the whole hog.
So I'm in the change rooms now, and I'm shaking, I'm flying, and I'm buzzing, I'm ready for this game. So in the warm-up, I've always done the same warm-up since I was a child, right? Always. And I always will. Adrian, the goalkeeper coach with us now, he came on board 2 years ago, and he's a great guy. He's good as gold. But he said, anything you want, anything you don't want to do this, and I said, I need to do the same warm-up, and that's what I've always done. Yeah. And he's been great with it. He puts good sessions on, but it's always got to be my warm-up. Yeah. So he does my warm-up and whatever, and he was great. And then we're doing a couple of shots, and I'm flying, I'm saving these shots now. I think at the time we might have struggled for a couple of results. And every time I make a save, I'm in the striker's, my own striker's face now, right? And I'm just fucking rinsing her. And Evo pulls me to one side and he says, you do my fucking head in, he says. A couple of things, can't hit the fucking barn door and you're winding them up and we got to go into the game. She was like, will you just calm down? So whatever, so he goes into the game, 5 minutes in, penalty. So, fuck. So me and Phil, when Phil was down the scout with us, basically Phil Holmes taught me the method that I use to save penalties. Right. And Phil was a centre-half, nasty centre-half. Good, proper, not a footballing centre-half, hard, right? Yeah. So Phil is one night, we were pissed down a scow and he's got the salt and the pepper and the goals and he's teaching me these things and I've always gone there. So the boy steps up, I don't know who he was, he's gone to my left, I've saved it, right? But it's not the best of pens, as I've saved it, I've fallen on it, right? So I've got the ball in my hands. I'm going fucking mental, I'm screaming at Phil in the sidelines. You fucking told me how to do it. And I'm going absolutely mad. And these boys on the sidelines giving it a big one, calling me all this nonsense, right? And I just keep going and going. Gets rid of the ball, I'm still going. So I punted the ball down the field. It's gone out for the throw-in, down the far side. Nana Bar was a manager of Caerhili at the time. Ball's gone out for a throw-in. A referee's blown the whistle. He's coming back to me. I thought, what the fuck have I done? He comes back and he says, I'm not having this. Name? I said, what do you mean name? I said, Stanton, 1. I said, what's this for? He said, dissent. Dissent? I said, to who? He said, everybody in the ground. He said, I can't be having this. Right?
It's a fair one, Matt, to be fair.
So I just laughed. I said, oh, fuck, whatever, get on with the game.
Who's the ref?
I don't know. I got to be careful. I can't name names of my friends. So the game goes on.
I'm just curious because some of them do make up laws.
Yeah.
So
this is the first half. So 2 minutes later, and I'm still there, right? Phil and he's like, oh, calm fucking down. So the game goes on. Ball comes over the top. Talk about making a decision. As a keeper, you know, once you go, and if you stop, you're going to get injured. Ball comes over the top. This boy's come through. Fuck me, I've never seen anybody run like in my fucking life. I've never been the quickest. I've come charging out. He's flicked the ball around me. I've hit him, right? He's gone up in the air, I've gone in the air, bang, I'm landing on the floor, it's fucking stars, right? And the fuck's going on, yeah? Referee standing over me, card in each hand. You're gone, right? Second yellow, red. I walks past the dugout, I could feel Phil in my face. Fuck. Nana Bar says something, so you can fuck off as well, I'm not fucking listening. So at the time, Talbot had ultras or whatever they were, so they were all behind the goal. So
behind the goal,
as a shower comes out, one of the boys, pint, innit? Great, you know, so we had murders, so everyone was like, you can't be doing these things. So we played, I don't know, argument's sake, Clanrumney, midweek, banned, 1 game ban. Yeah. So we played Tom Pentra the week after. It's probably one of my favourite sendings off, if I'm honest.
There's been a few,
yeah. How long we got? So we're playing down the soccer club, and I remember, I think we were 2-0 down half-time, and we were fucking battered, right? And if you've ever played football in Afan Lido's ground or Talbot's ground, it comes off a sea, right? Does, it's fuck, you could take a goal kick and it's coming back to you, right? Yeah. So we get hammered now.
Freezing as well.
Yeah. So we get hammered 2-0. So my father's in the top of the stand. Dad doesn't miss a game, home game. My mother gave up by like under 5s. She was like, I can't handle him anymore. So my dad is always...
I've got to be honest,
I don't blame her, right? So Dad's in the crowd now. So we're 2-0 down, right? And there was a guy, big fat bald guy, and he was going to me all game in the stand, and I don't know why he was getting to me. Maybe the weather, right? We were shit. So he comes back to all. I mean, I had a free kick, so we're attacking the beach. There's a free kick on the right-hand side. So I comes out my goal now. We're in this game, right? So I comes out to take the free kick. So the referee's like, booking someone. So I'm right away. So Tina ball. Referee said, do me a favour, get back in your goal. He said, don't speak to me like that. I'm not a fucking dog. Oh, he said, I'm not having that. Yellow card, right? So I'm thinking, fucking hell, why is this always me? Right? Takes a free kick, lumps it up the field. We go in now, the bus, right? With the train is steaming by we're back in this game. And I never forget, half-time losing 2-0, thinking, do you know what, if we come back, we're not going to win this game. But if we come back, I'm going over there, right? And that's the fucking end of it. So I've had this yellow, right? This is gospel truth. We scores to make it 3-2. I'm not too sure there was Luke Bowen. So we're attacking, the clubhouse behind me. They scores, they all run into the corner flag. 10 of them, sprinting. I'm sprinting to the stand, head gone.
The other way, like.
I've slid from here to the door, in front of the stand, to the ball. Afan, you fat bastard. I'm getting to the big one, right? The linesman is standing in front of me, and he just goes... I get up off my knees, I'm running back to the
How
goal.
long's left?
I'm oh, fucking hell, 5 minutes? If that,
Right,
stop
yeah.
it. I'm running back to the goal thinking, fuck, I've done it, big time. Referee blows a whistle, over he comes, gone. Straight, second yellow, red. Gets in the change rooms, I think Udi might have gone in goals, or someone's gone in goals. So I guess in, grabs my phone, rings my father. I said, you're a fucking prick. I seen that coming, he said, from the first half. It's always you. So we're arguing on the phone, this and that. He didn't speak to me for a couple of days. So he was watching the game with two of my mates at the top of the stand. I spoke to my buddy in a week and he said, your father was there. He said, as soon as the referee gave you the second yellow, he turned to me and tapped me on the shoulder. He went, fuck this, I'm off. And my old man went. And I never played for Talbot again. And that was the end of that. And it was nothing bad, you know. Rory McCreesh came in and Rory was a great keeper. And that was it. And I didn't play for a while. And then I ended up with Trefelin.
Do you know what, though, right? Looking back to the young Stanton, none of that you've just told us surprises me.
No.
Because, like, when I came, it was a few years then until I encountered you again, but, like, I wouldn't say you calmed down. Don't think you'd ever calm down, but, like...
Mellowed, but no.
It felt to me like you knew where the line was a little bit more. Because, like, that guy I first encountered at Tata Steel, like I said, I was like, who the fuck is this prick, you know?
Yeah.
But you know, the thing about that day was, right, I come off the pitch, and I can't ever remember, like, wanting to kill a player as much as that from an opposition before, right? And then you sit in the bar afterwards, and you were talking to the ref, first of all, and then, like, you said something to me, and I just answered back, like, I wasn't really up for a chat, and I'm walking out of there going, I really wanted to hate that fucking arsehole, do you know what I mean? But you're actually all right.
Yeah.
So,
in fairness, we've always said...
The up and down and the up and down of it.
We've obviously spoken, and I've been to watch Matt over the years, and I'm sure I'm sure I came to watch you play for Trefelin against it. Did you get sent off
in a pre-season friendly?
when you
decapitated the boy?
Yeah, that was right. I went to watch him on the university, right? And I told him I was going to come and watch.
I shouldn't have played that game.
I said, we'll have a chat. I said, I'll come and watch you, mate. I haven't watched you play for a long time. We'll have a catch-up. I turned up to watch him. I'm stood in line with the edge of the penalty box. We're having a chat as the ball's at that end of the pitch. Ball comes through. All of a sudden, he's gone. He's running.
Ball's up.
You know that one where you think, he ain't pulling out to this.
He's not going to stop.
And he's taken off, two-footed, off the floor, and absolutely mashed somebody, and he's walking before the ref's even got the pocket.
Cut the long story short that day, I should never have played that game. I was in a bad frame of mind. I'd split up with my ex-missus at the time. Should have gone to Cyprus in a wedding. And I said, Richard Ryan was a manager, and I just said, I shouldn't be playing today. Like, I'm not in a good place, but I need to play, and then whatever.
You said it to me.
The chairman said, you need to play. I said, fuck it, you know what, I want me to play, I'll play. And I played, and then, like, I'm not a fighter at all, but I was just fucking irate. The ball came over the top, and I just thought, you know what, fuck it. It was up there, and I've defended it for years, and if you watch the footage, how the fucking hell I defended that, I never know. But
it's that high, two-footed.
It was bad. I've never been blessed with pace, but I was...
What's the Aberdeen Town pre-season one?
So that's funny enough. That's come up.
mentioned.
So that's come up today. So that was 4 years today. So on my Facebook memory, so we were just coming out of COVID. I just signed for Baglan. So we had the COVID wipeout season, which was crap.
Yeah.
And then it was just getting up and running then. It was the start of the season where we won the Amateur League.
Yeah.
So we played Aberdeen midweek up there, and my mates, they like their football. So I was obviously playing, so I was driving. So I said, look, you know, I got a car, 4 seats, you know. So all the boys come up and they were all swigging on the way up there.
So this is debut, is it now, Baglan?
This is my first game for Baglan, first friendly for Baglan, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, you know, I knew a couple of the boys, a couple of them knew me, but I didn't know them. Carl was the centre midfielder when I was down Tata for years.
Yeah.
So he was the reason why I'd gone to Baglan. He wanted to get the band back together. So I've gone there now. It was pre-season friendly. I was doing right at the time. I was in a good frame of mind. So the boys were swigging in the stand, and I don't really know what happened. The first half, the ball's come over the top. And I think I've just kind of fumbled it, and the striker's turned to smash the ball, as he's entitled to do. And then I just thought, I looked at his eyes, and I thought, fucking hell, he's going to stick one on me, man. So I just grabbed my arm around him on the floor, I'm just choking him out, thinking, fuck, the boys will be here now. The boy's gone purple in the eye, right, in the face, and I'm just thinking, fucking hell, somebody come here. So the referee comes in, leaves him go, says, fucking right, it's the elevator. Referee, straight red. So I'm like, hang on now, it's a friendly. Nah, he said, straight red, and he put it through. The first two games of the Amateur League, Carl has signed the goalkeeper, has had to sign another goalkeeper for the first 2 games of the season.
That's after COVID, is it?
Yeah, that was coming out at the end of COVID. I don't think we were allowed to use the changing rooms that day.
No,
it was at the end. You could play football, but you couldn't.
Yeah. An interesting stat for you. From the 2019-20 season, so just as we're coming into COVID, do you know, in 181 appearances, you've got 18 yellows and 1 red. 10%.
Well, the reds are coming down.
10%. I love that.
So
the reds are coming down,
It's a 10% card ratio.
So it's a 10. How many yellows?
18 yellows and 1 red in all competitions.
So it's 180 quid on yellows and a 30 for red, 210 quid to them lot in the FAW.
Listen, you just be grateful you're not a manager, mate. They're 120 quid a pop.
Mate, it's a great stat. That is a fantastic.
There's nothing worse, right? When you're a manager, you've lost your head about something or whatever, and you hear the words white paper. Oh, here we go. There's another 150 quid of my hard-earned money.
My bank balance is fantastic since I stopped coaching.
All the time, yellow card. Do you know? I will say, since we got to the Cymru South, I've never been sent off for Baglan. I don't know whether that's down to Adrian. Has he come on as a goalkeeper coach? He's great. He's good as gold. He gets me. I'm not the easiest person to get, you know.
Yeah, but also like everybody gets a bit of maturity, don't they? And how many nights like that one you just described, where John Hood's had to go back in goals for the last 5 minutes, your dad doesn't speak to you for 2 days. Everyone that's got an ounce of intelligence will reach a point where they're like, I need to tone this down 10%.
I kind of agree with you, but I kind of don't, in terms of I knew I never thought about what could happen until the last 2 years of Baglan. The first season, it happened last year, the season just gone, the season before. I hit 4 yellows, and Carl will tell you, it's the best thing ever happened to me. So the season before last, we played Armanford away. We didn't have another keeper, and I'm on 4 yellows, and it was like end of November time, and I was on 4 yellows, and I think our next 2 games was Goytre and Afan Lido. And Carl pulled me and he said, you're on 4 yellows, and they were all shit yellows, for fuck all, time wasting, arguing, crap, right, cheap. And he said to me, you're on 4 yellows, he said, and do you know if you get your 5th, he said, you're going to let the boys down, because Johnny, my mate, he's going to have to go in goal, centre midfielder, he said, but you know, more so, you're going to fuck with your own head, because he said, you used to play for Goytre, you used to play for Afan Lido, local derbies, there's going to be a couple of hundred people there, you're not going to be standing with us.
Yeah.
So, and then I kind of knew then, I can't do it. I can't fuck about, because...
But do you know also, though, I don't reckon the youngster I first encountered at Tata Steel would have taken that information and...
maybe now at mid-30s is kind of...
I don't feel you would have had that control.
Well, saying that, right, I'll contradict my own self there. So that night, we've had an in-swinging corner. I've punched the ball. So Lewis Reed, the striker for Armanford, he's a great striker, he's a good guy. Yes. I punched it, he's kind of come through me, kind of thing. And why? I just fucking grabbed him, right? And the video, it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Grabbed him, thrown him to the floor, we're kind of wrestling. The play's going on, referee's fucking blown the whistle, linesman's flagging now, right? So I'm going to get a yellow by here now, right? Like, what the fuck's going on? So I'm thinking, I've done it big time. I fucked up. So the referee goes over to talk to the linesman. Initially, I'm thinking, fucking hell, I'm on straight red here, not a yellow. So he's there for about 3 or 4 minutes now, so I'm thinking, fucking hell. So the referee keeps looking now at the Armanford players, right? So what he was going to do, well, what he did in the end, was he booked both players. He didn't do it in the end, but he was trying to book both players. Now, he knows it's me because I'm wearing blue, and I'm the only person wearing blue. We've got 10 other players for Armanford wearing black and white stripes.
So he couldn't identify.
But he didn't know which number it was, right? Because the linesman didn't see it. So I'm thinking, fuck, I've got away with this, right? So Luke Evans, our centre midfielder now, right? Thick as shit, right? So this is going on and on and on, right? So I'm thinking, I just said, ref, come on, ref, can we get on with the game? Just let it go. Just get on with the game. Luke comes running in to the referee and the linesman and says, ref, get on with the game. It was in and in. And I'm looking, and I said to him, do you know if he'd booked me, I said, you would have been in goals next week, man, because we wouldn't have no fucking keeper. Second half, I scored the equaliser, and that was the end of that.
Funny how it goes like that sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Jesus. So you obviously, like, where I became aware of your penalty saving was when you went to Trefelin.
Yeah.
So you obviously had some success with Trefelin.
Yes,
I know it didn't necessarily finish in the way you would have liked.
No.
But you certainly had some success there, didn't you?
I saved 6 penalties in 2 seasons there. Yeah, it was looking back at it, it was a good time. It was a very good club. It's changed a lot since then, since I've come away from when I was there, it was changing. But yeah, I had some great penalty saving success there. We won the Welsh League Cup against Llanelli. I saved a penalty. I think it was 5 minutes before the end of time. Joe Clark took the pen, and I saved it. And we went. So that until I got to Baglan, that was probably the best night of football I've ever experienced in my life. Llanelli were. They'd won Welsh League Division 1, and I'm sure they'd won it by like 15 points. They pissed it. They were going back in the Welsh Prem. We were in Division 3.
I was going to say, because you put us out when we were at STM Sports, and it was a couple of weeks later. Despite being second in the league, I got the phone call, you're sacked. And one of the big reasons was you went out of the cup to a lower league team. 3 months later,
we won the cup.
It weren't so bad after all.
No. It's
Llanelli in the final.
That year it was tough. It was us, Swansea Uni and Bridgend Street. Bridgend Street. No, it wasn't. It was us, Swansea Uni. I can't remember where else.
I'm sure.
Swansea Uni. No, I think it was Bridgend Street.
Yeah, I think that was one of the years Street were up there.
So there was a last game of the season, and Bridgend Street needed to beat, I think it was Swansea Uni or whatever it was. It was on the Thursday night, and we had the cup final on the Friday. And Richard said to the boys, "I don't want anybody going to watch it. What will happen will happen." So if Bridgend Street had won, we wouldn't have got promoted, and we were playing the cup final the night before. So I didn't make a song and dance about it. I'm an adult. I'm not being told what to do. I wanted to go and see that game, and if they were to win that game, I wanted to feel that hurt kind of thing, right? You learn from things like that. Took it upon myself. It was pissing down. I took an umbrella. I went up. I drove up. It's not the best of grounds, is it? Tremova, Steelworks down there. I think the keeper went down in a warm-up or early on. In the end, Bridgend Street won the game, so we didn't get promoted. 24 hours later, we played Llanelli in a cup final. And I honestly, I didn't give up. Nobody gave us a hope. You know, Trundle was playing up front from there. Trundle, James Loveridge, Joe Clark. Bevs was playing centre half. The keeper, it was the keeper, bald fella from Marmonford.
Another guy.
Fucking hell, name's lost me. You know, they had a great side. And then, if 5 minutes in, balls come over the top, I've cleared it. Trundle's gone through me, the biggest dead leg ever. Fucking hell. We've gone 2-0 up, and I just thought, fucking hell, you know, we're in this. I saved the pen. They've scored late on, and we won. You know, we won the Welsh League Cup, and with a club as small at the time as Trefelin, it was phenomenal. Llanelli, fucking hell, you should have seen the amount of people from the dugout all around the side. They'd won that night. They were having a presentation wherever it was, and it was the League and Cup double presentation.
We know that feeling, don't we?
So you're describing virtual carbon copy, right?
Like
so when it was our first season at Cross y Ceiliog, and we'd had about 15 players leave the club last summer. So when it's the end of the season and we're in the cup final, Goytre United had won the league maybe 6 days earlier with a stoppage time goal down at the Lido. So they've won the Welsh League. And it's the following week, and it's at Bridgend Town. The rugby ground they were playing at the time, Brewery Field. So, you know, not a person in Wales gave us a hope. We've just finished 6th in Division 2, and what I consider to be the best team I saw in Welsh League football have just won the league, and we're about to play them on one of the biggest pitches in Wales. And
I played on it. It was massive.
Do you know what? I stood outside the changing room, right, and I just watching them arrive. And we've all arrived, of course, because it's the biggest game of our lives for us. We've all arrived in tracksuit and, you know, all matching, and lots of supporters there. And they're arriving in flip-flops and vests and in dribs and drabs and all this. And then before the game, I heard they had a pub in, I'm sure it was in Britain Ferry, but it could have been Neath the following day, booked out all day. They're celebrating they've won the league anyway, don't get me wrong, but it was going to be the double celebration. They'd taken days off work. And I didn't believe it until a couple of years afterwards. Chris Summers was playing for him.
That's right.
And I actually said, is that right? He said, yeah, did have the day off. But it's great. When you know that.
When you do it.
Because I've always... You could never prove it, but to be fair, all of them after that game that night, Connaughty, all of the guys, Richie Ryan, all of the players that, all of the main lads for that team, to a man, they were all like, guys, you were the better team on the pitch by a mile tonight, deserved it. Which, to be fair to them, it must have been embarrassing for them on the night, because they were such a great side. They've just won the league.
Yeah.
And here's this little mid-table second division side. Definitely. But, lots of parallels to what you're saying
definitely,
there. Do you know what I mean?
That night, it was... I don't think anybody believed that we could win it apart from ourselves. And, I never forget, I saved a penalty late on and then they scored and they were bombarding us and there was bodies on the line, and then there's games of football you've been involved in where they're the best games to be involved in. Right? I'll touch upon quickly about a game last season. We played Goytre at home. We were winning 2-0 after 20 minutes, battering them. We've had 2 red cards. Nathan Logan got sent off. I don't know what the fuck he was doing. And then Dylan's got sent off. He's on a yellow. The boys hit the shot to me. It's at the railings, bounce back, and he's just clipped it over the railings to kick it back. Referee's just giving me kick the ball away. Second yellow, red. So we're down to 9 men. They've scored for the last 25 minutes. They scored in the 87th minute. The way we held on that day, I've made 2 saves. The body's on the line. It's incredible. And it's games like that you will always remember. Give me that over a 9-0 all day long. And that night with the cup final, fuck, it was phenomenal, and I never forget. I got a great photo on my phone. So the day after, I'd organised, we were going to Fosslas, horse racing trip with Trefelin Club Day Out. So obviously, we got through the cup final. I was thinking, fuck, it's going to be a bit of a damn squid, we're likely going to fucking pump us in the final, and we're going horse racing. So in the end, we wins it, right? So full-time whistle goes. Now, my mum had come to watch, which meant a lot to me. So my mum and my dad were behind the goal in the corner. So my brother had gone on the supporters bus all day. He's fucking up there, pissed. So amazing feeling. We're underdogs, saved the pen, right? Amazing. So I've hurdled the advertising audience, grabbed my mum and dad, right? Massive catch, amazing. My brother comes from nowhere, fucking get in there, jumps on the top of that, right? Smacks my old man, right? He's got my mother in a headlock, and this is, honest to God, I goes up there on a Saturday morning, my mother's sitting on a settee, like that, and my father's got a fucking black eye, where my brother had caught him with his watch.
This is mad. There's so many parallels to our experience against Goytre. This is mad. We didn't have to do the bodies on the line bit because with about 10 minutes to go, the ball comes to Rhys Carr on the halfway line and
right in front of the dugout.
Right in front of the dugout on the biggest pitch in Wales at the time, and he's stuck it over Chris Curtis's head straight into the net from the halfway line, right?
Shock.
And I'm up in the stand.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to get a look. They're changing shape every 2 minutes. So I'm just trying to get a look at it. I've come down and I'm in boots. And one of the lads who's cup tied is there in flip-flops. And I've jumped on it and my stud has gone straight through the top of his foot. Right? Brownie, the centre-back, who was probably man of the match on the night, who became Cross Ceiliog manager then subsequently. He's split his head open and he's now like a pint of Guinness. He didn't know what day it was. And had to go off to the hospital straight after, missed everything. But he said, you're going to Foss last.
Yeah.
The following day, we went for 4 nights to Magaluf. Brilliant.
So we took, and never forget, we had a big course. We took the trophy with us and he was on the bus and it was great.
we took it on the plane to Magaluf.
He had a seat to himself on the plane. Brilliant times, though. Brilliant times.
We touch upon there now then, right, about what happens after the cup final.
Yeah.
You said to me that you was going to ask about my highlight in football.
Yeah.
Greatest night for me ever in football was when we won the playoff final with Baglan.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Just what we were up against that night, that week, that back end of the season was just fucking hell.
So this is on that magic run you spoke to us about.
Yeah. So right. And you said about you went on tour the day after when we were supposed to have gone on tour that morning.
Right.
So we had a meeting down the club. We got a great set of boys in Baglan, everybody's friends. Every Saturday night, 7, 8, 9, 10 of us out. We're all good friends. So it was like Christmas time. So obviously the Ardal stops over Christmas. The company cell keeps going. So we'd have like a meeting and we'd do a couple of drinks. And I said, Benidorm. I tell you what, we'll book Benidorm for the Champions League final. end of May. Second bank holiday, May. So leagues due to finish end of April, beginning of May.
Schoolboy era though.
Right?
This is Wales.
You know to be fair, the Cymru South is a lot better because you've got floodlights and you've got midweek games and stuff and get it in. But with the Arda, you've got to wait for the light to come and then whatever. So we booked this tour. I think it was 23, 24, maybe 25 of us going from first, seconds, first, boys will watch us, chairman, everybody, right? So we're all going. So as the season's progressing now, game off. Kind of like, oh fuck, this could be a bit nip and tuck. So we've gone on this run. We've won 16 of the last 18 games. We've drawn 2. Season finishes, and we've got this Benidorm tour booked now, Friday morning. So Goytre we're playing Garden Village on the Tuesday, right? If Garden Village got anything, Garden Village is already relegated. If they got anything, we would win the league and we go up. They were already relegated. Goytre were a good side. It's not happening, right? So we were all like, fuck, we didn't know what to do. Now, if we were on a contract and we'd been paid a lot of money all season, 100, 150, 200 pound a game, right? We'd be obliged to stay, but we didn't. We'd all paid 300, 400 pound to go to Benidorm, so we were torn. We didn't know what to do. So if there's going to be a playoff, do we stay? Do we go? So we spoke to the boys' message FAW and said, look, what's happening with the playoff? They couldn't tell us nothing until that game had finished. Garden Village goes 1-0 up, right? I'm not interested, right? The boys in the group, everyone's like, fuck, Garden Village 1-0. I think it ended like 6-1 in the end, right? So that Tuesday night, Lewis Holmes, we did a group. So I think it was out to say the 24. 9 of us were going to stay behind. So it was Pixie the chairman, Clemo the manager, 7 of us players were all in the squad. So it would take 9 of us to stay. The rest of them are still going Friday morning. So we got wind that there was going to be a playoff final Friday night. So we said to the FAW, can't happen. We're going to Benidorm, 24 of us. We said, it's booked, it's done. They didn't want to know. Not interested, right? Standard, right?
It doesn't surprise me, and it does wind me up. And do you know what winds me up even more? Going back to that Cross of Ceiliog final. When we reached the final, we told the Welsh League the entire club is going to Magaluf on this date.
It was the same.
So they put the final a day before. So they can do it if they want to.
Yeah. And I remember one of the boys even created a fake email address pretending to be a photographer for the game, trying to judge what they thoughts are. When is the game going to be? So the Tuesday night, Lewis is looking for flights, and we couldn't get them, whatever. And then on the Wednesday, we met outside the Somerset Arms, us boys that had impacted. So and we were like, what are we going to do? This and that. Are we going to stay? Are we going to go? And we were split, and we were like, we love the club, and we've come this far. We should stay. We need to finish it. We were playing against. It was going to be against Risca, who were a very, very good side at the time. Yeah. So we said, fuck, we didn't know what to do. So we said to the club, if we can find flights Saturday morning that gets us. So we fly in Friday morning, 6:30. First flight's out to Bristol, coming back Monday. So if you can find us flights that gets us to the pool Saturday dinner time, we'll surrender the Friday night and we'll play and we'll go and whatever. So that night, the FAW have confirmed the game is Friday night, 7:30 up in Benidorm. So fuck, here we go. So Lewis has found flights for 6 of us from Bristol, Manchester for 5, somewhere else for 4. We couldn't get any. It was just late at night. I'm just thinking, fuck, I was about to go to bed. Lewis puts in a group. I've got flights for 9 of us from Leeds, Bradford. What to do, right? So the boys are like, fuck it, do it. So Clemo fucking books the flights in the group. So we fly in, I think it was like 6:10 on the Saturday morning. It's done, right? The rest of them are going. So gets the Wednesday out of the way, gets the Thursday out of the way. I'm off work on a Friday, everybody's off work, because we're supposed to be, the boys left the bevs at 2 in the morning, empty seats, they go. So we let our seats go, so that we were going to fly out and then come back on our original seats.
So
right?
who's gone? Any of the first team?
No, boys that were injured, and then
like reserve players,
mates,
porters and
seconds, porters, committee, whatever it was.
Okay.
So boys that weren't involved.
But none of them got to be at the playoff because of this. Just
so they're
no flexibility at all.
Nothing at all. So they're sitting in Benidorm watching it on the Cymru app, pissed. They've been on the go since early hours of the morning. So that morning we all met down Afan Beach. We had a breakfast in Remo's or whatever it was. We had a walk along the beach. 7 of us, Clemo was the manager and Pixie was the chairman, they weren't there. So us players were there. Now we just hang around all day. So we'd all booked our cases, checked in, flights, whatever. So I'm going now, so the bus picks us up. So we're on the bus up the 465, going to a playoff final, probably one of the biggest games I've ever played in. The cup final with Trefelin was massive. To win a cup, yes. This game, to win promotion to the Cymru South, was huge.
Yeah.
The implications of what it would mean for our club was tiny, still is. So that game was massive. I'm on the bus, right? I got my passport in my ass pocket. I got my fucking shorts, towel, and a fucking suitcase bag on a Benidorm. I got my kit bag there, right? It's incredible, right? So we pulls up. I don't know if you've seen it. Our red minibus for Baglan. It served the purpose. They had it brand new years ago. It's been a fucking unreal runner, right? But it's a shed. And God bless her. She died last year, right? So she's gone. So we've had a new bus, right? But it was... So the idea was that the boys that were in the squad that were playing, that weren't going to Benidorm, had to take their cars. Because the boys, we were going to go straight to Leeds Bradford from the game. So Scott, our secretary, Scott Turner, was going to drive the bus back. So Pixie was going to drive it, the chairman, to Leeds. Scott would, whatever, and then Scott would drive it back, right? So he pulls up at the ground in this bus. It's a fucking shed, right? There's a guy who steps off the bus. There's a guy now, right, from Scorio, filming a game from S4C, right? We got fucking suitcases everywhere, right? So he walks in, you know, whatever. And I never forget, right? We were such a small club at the time. When we walks in the little tunnel area, turns, it looks at Risker's changing rooms. They had a telly on wheels, right? Playing all highlights of their goals all season. And you can ask anybody involved in Baglan. He gets in the change rooms. Our bibs was stinking, right? We didn't have enough warm-up tops to go around, right? Our warm-up balls, you know, whatever, right? It was a David and Goliath kind of thing. As much as people said, you know, this and that, right? They were so professional. Every single person had they were head to toe in the same gear, right? We were already in holiday mode, you know, you didn't know what to do. Gets in the change rooms, Carl gives a great speech, we goes out in the warm-up, and I kind of felt like there's something new. I've been involved in football a long time, and you know, you get a little bit of a... And then the ball, in the first half, I can't remember who it was, slips the ball through. Fucking Jordan's in one-on-one, and Jordan's just sat the keeper down, he's dinked it over him, it's 1-0. And I thought, fuck, here we go, we're on to something, yeah? We get in half-time, Carl give, you know, calm down, it's only 1-0. All this, and I'm looking around the change rooms, and I just thought, every single person I'm looking at here, and they were all, to me, they were all, not kids, but they're all youngsters, right? I'm looking around and I'm thinking, fuck me, they all believe you. We're on to something. Goes out second half. We knew they were going to have a spell. They've come into the game. Jordan's had the ball inside the centre circle, and he's picked it up and he's gone and he's attacked. And obviously I'm right behind him now, right? Behind their goals. He's got it out of his foot. He's hit it in the top corner. You've seen the goal, right? And Scorio had a camera in the goal, the footage. And he's hit it, and the keeper's gone for, and it's just gone in the top corner. And honest to God, I just remember having goosebumps thinking, fuck me, this is on. This is on. And then the way we defended the last half hour of that game, my back four, I've never experienced anything like it in my life. And I never forget, my mum and dad couldn't make the game that night. Chilo, who was my scout manager that signed me down, and he was instrumental in my early years as a senior keeper, was on the sidelines with Phil Holmes. And I never forget, he blew the final whistle, and I just sprinted to the pair of them, and I died, and I got quite emotional. And I just couldn't get over what the fuck had just happened. And the guy, he was like, I don't know, like a blogger kind of thing, and he gave me an interview after the game, and he was asking how does it feel, and I said, it's amazing, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I ended the interview, and I said, listen fella, I gotta go. I'm gonna fucking Benidorm.